Hello everybody, my name is Robert, and welcome back to another episode of the Dually SMP. I know, truly mind-blowing, I've actually made 2 videos this year. But today, we've actually got some pretty big plans in store. I actually want to tackle this wool farm over here, because if we just come over here really quick, you're gonna see that, yeah, they've all got their wool on, which means, oh no, there's a few that are still going, but yeah, for the most part, basically everything has stopped collecting. Oh wow, okay, we're a little bit backed up, but we still have 1 open slot left. But yeah, as you can see, even, well, the white wool's a bad example, but basically every other wool is completely full. Wait, what the heck? Someone was actually taking some of the wool. That's really surprising to me. You know, as I mentioned in the first episode, I'm usually the only person who plays, but I am more than happy to see that someone has actually been taking wool. But yeah, a lot of them are full, especially with the overstock that's in there. And although it wasn't shown in the first video, spawn actually used to be higher than this, and I flattened it down to this, and over there used to be higher than that, and I flattened it down to that. I'm not flattening it down 2 more blocks just to make it level with the sheep farm. I would like to level this out, raise the sheep farm up 2 blocks, and probably move it. I may put the sheep farm on a diagonal. Oh no, I can't do that because there's a rail to collect everything. I mean, I could do like a different collection system, but no, we'll figure it out as we go. First things first, I gotta get some leads. And what better way to get leads than to go over to my friend's spider farm, which is just over here. Certainly I'll be able to find it very quickly, and it's not like his house is a giant maze or anything. It would never be that, right? Yeah, we just go down this way and... oh, no, that's a dead end. Is it over this way? I hear creepers. That's the gunpowder farm. How about this way? Oh no, that's a dead end. Maybe it's down this way? Oh, I think this is actually it. Did I actually find it? Yeah, I think this is it. Alright, nice. That's not so bad. Last time I tried to find this, it took me about 5 minutes. I think this time it only took me 1 minute. 1 stupid spider, 2 stupid spider, 3 stupid spider, 4 super stupid spider. Alright, we've got everything we need to craft the leads. I think we only need 16 because there are only 16 different sheep for 16 different colors. Simple enough. We've got more than enough. Extra resources are always helpful. So, I started off by placing some fence posts, which I'm going to tie all of the sheep to because I want them out of their pens so that I can just peacefully take down the entire sheep farm and replace it later. And they were giving me a lot of resistance. Let me tell you, it is a mistake to try to move mobs without tempting them with whatever their temptation item may be, like wheat or such. Yeah, definitely in the future, if I'm ever going to move mobs, I am going to be using their temptation item because they really fought me on that. But anyways, I started taking apart this place. It was actually a really easy and simple process, especially taking out the shroom lights. It was super nice. I would just like break the slabs and then just like smash those shroom lights. It was really cool. So, once I cleaned out most of the original farm, I decided I wanted to keep the giant sheep head, as it's kind of a monument from the start of the server. It's just been there basically the whole time. So, I wanted to redo all of the rainbow around it, because it was not a true rainbow before. It did not have all 16 colors. And I fixed that, and I basically had to repeat the pattern a second time. Didn't go all the way around, but it did get most of the way around, and I thought it came out pretty nice. You'll see here in just a second. I also decided that I would like the Jeb sheep that we also keep at spawn to have a new home on top of the giant rainbow monument of him. So I decided to grab him and lead him over, but going back on what I said earlier, moving mobs without their temptation item, terrible, terrible mistake. I didn't learn my lesson from earlier in this episode, and I think we all know where this is going. Look at how he's just like leaping around. I was just like, oh, that's fine. There's definitely no way that this could go terribly wrong at any moment, right? Wrong. I cannot believe that I did this. I just sat there in disbelief for like a full minute. We will make a grave for him, and here Jeb shall rest. Unfortunately, rip Jeb. Also decided to clean up the edges of this newfound gravesite. And if losing Jeb wasn't bad enough, I had a very close call, which nearly gave me a heart attack. Bad creeper. Finally started filling in the farm that I had just removed and fixing the wall to the rail system that was the back wall of the farm as well. And with that, I could finally finish leveling spawn by removing this little divot that was used to access the wool farm. Good precision anti-creeper sentry. And there we go. That was the last block I needed to place for now, and we're keeping these spots open to access some chests. As for where to actually put the farm, I think right here in this little bubble part of the mountain would be nice. So I just started digging, and it winds up that this is actually going to be in a similar spot to the old wool farm because I ran into the wolf storage for the old farm. That will be a little annoying to deal with, but luckily I was just within range of the spawn haste beacon, so I can make light work of this build. My friends may consider me good at redstone, but honestly, I have to lay things out and think about them a lot in my head before I do them, and then even when I do them, I look back and I realize that I just messed it up terribly, just like right here. So yeah, I went back and forth a lot here, and I was just laying things out to figure out how much space I would need, and I realized I'm going to need quite a bit more space than I had laid out right here. This was just a mock-up, basically, of how this space would work out, and I realized right here that this was not enough space. I also couldn't go any further backwards because that would wind up hitting the rail system, so I had to go left and right, expanding, and you'll see here that I wind up actually making something really cool, and it winds up being a really nice layout. So all of the sheep are going to be up against the back wall instead of the left and the right like I was planning on doing originally. And you can see here I actually begin the layout of the redstone. I like to use stone brick for anything redstone related so that I know if I'm mining through a mountain and I hit stone brick to stop immediately. I could be lazy and just leave it with stone, but I feel like that burns me so much in the end because I just wind up accidentally mining into my own redstone. But yeah, the layout here winds up just working out perfectly. I put everything together very nicely, got everything basically completely laid out. The redstone, of course, is very simple on an automatic wool farm. It's nothing complex, but it did take me a while. And we got everything nicely lit up, and then I took a second to look at it, and I realized I'd mined out the floor and forgot to adjust the farm for that, so the farm is a block too low. Yeah, so let's tear it out, and boom, by the power of editing magic, it is completely perfectly level. Isn't that just amazing? This is what I mean when I say that I always mess up my redstone and I have to do it like 3 times, but hey, it works out in the end. And I had this cool idea to put the wool color above the dispensers of each wool, and it winds up being really cool. I really like the rainbow look and the rainbow design, so I lean into that pretty heavily in this build, and I wind up super happy with how that turns out, but you'll have to watch till the end to see exactly how that winds up being, and I can promise you it's going to be pretty cool when it's finished. So here I start making a staircase, one of 2. There's going to be one on each side of the doorway to go to the underside part, because I realized I'm going to have to make item filters if I want things to be sorted automatically, which I do want to accomplish, and I'm going to have to, of course, put the rail system for collection underneath, and it's going to be pretty vertical. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go downstairs in order to store the wool and collect the wool. And the reason that I didn't want to do some kind of hopper tower, or I mean dispenser tower, to bring the wool upwards is I just really don't like those kinds of systems where you do vertical movement. I guess I could have done like a bubble column or something, and that could have been cool, but I decided I liked how the staircase was turning out, and I would just go with that. So here I'm working on the item filters. They're absolutely nothing special. It is literally the default Impulse SV design. Of course, this is spaced out 1 by 1 because that is just how the farm wound up working out. Every sheep pen is spaced out 1 block apart, and I also used a complete hopper chain for the rail system, which you'll see in a second here. I don't think I've implemented it just yet, but yeah, the rail system actually completely runs on just a hopper chain, so any item that falls into those hoppers literally will just go straight around. Also, you realize here I tried to do the item filters and I was like, oh no, what did I mess up? Because the items went down to the wrong hopper. Very simple fix. The hoppers that get locked were were in the wrong orientation. I always forget that they have to be in a specific orientation. They can't be straight down. But yeah, it was a simple fix, and I quickly fixed that. Next, I decided that it would actually be really cool if you went down to the storage system and you could just visually see which wool was being stored where. So I decided on the ground to actually just put a line of wool leading to the storage of said wool, and I thought this came out really nice, and I think this is something that should be utilized more in storage systems, is just complete visualization of the storage and the item that you're storing. Instead of like using item frames or something, just use the straight up block if you're storing a block. Like, it's pretty easy, simple, and it looks nice. It looks really cool. So yeah, here is where I was talking about with the hopper chain. The rails are going to go on top of that, and let me tell you, it is kind of a pain to try to place rails on top of a hopper when you can't get on top of the hopper. Also, there were mobs spawning in my redstone. Probably not the best thing to happen, so I lit that up just to make sure no more would spawn. But yeah, as you can see, this was just kind of a nightmare because I had to shift, jump, and also place at the same time. But then I also realized you can literally just place it on the back wall of the blocks, which made my life a lot easier, but was also a little bit annoying still. And then I realized I have to somehow get this minecart to move, so I had to precariously fly into there, give it a nudge, and jump back down. But with that, the farm was actually ready for the sheep to be moved in, but there was one thing I needed to do before that, and it was a nightmare. I'm going to spare you the details, but inventory management when you're moving large amounts of items like this, absolutely nightmarish. Wait, oh, I'll come back for you later. Alright, on to the fun part of today, unleashing all these groups of sheep because I leashed them together, that's always fun, and then grabbing one and putting them into their pen. Certainly that'll be easy without wheat. It's not like I haven't learned anything from earlier, yeah, certainly not. Well, we got there in the end, but it took quite a while. Which I'm not willing to show in this video because it was a little embarrassing. But regardless, we got there in the end, and yeah, I was super happy with how this turned out. I really want to incorporate more colors into my builds from now on because this is just really marvelous to look at, especially when you're looking like straight down the line or so. And I'm just super happy with it overall. Hello there. Alright, I really don't have enough moss. Wait, I was gonna bone meal this. Oh no, but it could replace the grass. Alright, I'll do it by hand, I guess. So unfortunately, the haste beacon only reaches behind the wool farm. Please give me haste, but it doesn't reach to here. Oh wait, it does reach to the... Okay, nice. Yeah, that was a pleasant little surprise. I thought that I couldn't reach the haste beacon anymore, but actually, right between the glass, you can just barely get haste from spawn. And that is what I was using. It was pretty nice, but it also wound up griefing me plenty of times in this build because I would randomly get haste and then mine out 10 pieces of stone when I tried to mine one, but so is life. Anyway, I was trying to go with a more structured kind of build on this one, and as with most of my builds, I really didn't plan anything, and I just kind of went just completely freestyling on this. I did wind up going with a more mossy build, and I think that's because in my brain, the only thing that could really match with the colorful color scheme of all of this farm is going to be something that is also vibrant, which is going to be greenery. You know, that's going to be like the closest I can really get to it. Another precision anti-creeper sentry. Where did you go? Are you... Oh, that's awfully precarious. Okay, just take these, please, and then... Oh, yeah, perfect. There we go. Oh, yeah. And here's your new home. Welcome. So, made another mistake here, which I swiftly covered up, but I mined out the roof because I was going to go for more of like an open feeling, but then I didn't like the way that was looking, so I just literally decided to cover it up. This kind of wound up working out pretty nicely, though, because I covered it up, but left a hole in the ceiling, and then I went up into the hole and just placed some moss down and bone mealed it. And this just actually worked out really well because, as you guys know, I don't have a moss farm, so I don't really have the moss to be throwing around here, and I needed a lot of moss in the roof. So I just came down here to craft some iron doors. This is the iron farm. I don't think I've actually showed this on camera, but yeah, this is the iron farm. It's where the drop down is and the water elevator, and it's It's awfully quiet down here. Nothing is spawning. That's a little concerning. We're going to have to take a peek up here. So we're going to have to go into the villager corpse. I know it says no inspections, but I'm allowed. I'm not one of the feds. So, yeah. Got the area over here. Well, yeah, this is Alberto, by the way. Just thought I'd introduce you guys. You know, got to get you familiar with the people around here. This side, yeah, everything looks good over here. I believe this is Albert, right? Yeah, Albert. All right. So stuff should be spawning, but it's not. Huh. I think something is broken. I don't know what it is. Alright, here we are with the finished project. I have done a lot off camera, but I thought I've shown enough progress in terms of me working this episode, and I'll just kind of give you guys a tour around, and then we'll show the outside. The outside's pretty crazy, so don't be too surprised. So in here, of course, we've got the sheep. They are all being sheared properly. We have a little access over here, I think it is, yeah, if we want to go back there and access the dispensers, so we can add more shears. We've got extras in here as well. Added some petals on top of the moss. Added some texturing. I added in the tuff in here, and I think it works out really well, surprisingly. I found that most stony type bricks couldn't work in here, and I don't want too much stone types in here. I really just want it to be very mossy and overgrown. But yes, I'm throwing some leaves in here, some flower petals, moss carpets, and even some tuff really livened up the room. And if we go down here, of course, we have the finished hallway of wool. I don't know what to call this, a storage room, I guess. And it does look a little bit rough. I can't find like good stairs to put here. I think maybe, is there tough stairs in 1.21? I guess we'll check that out when it comes, but that'll be a while from now. But yeah, for now, it's just gonna be stone stairs. We have an overflow indicator here, so if any of these are ever lit, we're gonna have to come down here and manually fix that, because overflow could genuinely be an issue in this. I don't know if the item filter will break or not. I don't remember how this type of item filter breaks. But anyway, let's check out the outside here. Don't be too shocked, but yeah, it's a little interesting. So I'll say here, I had no real idea going into this, but it wound up being a very specific type of build. So it looks a little rough, I'm not going to lie. I'll go through my thought process and how it wound up being what it is now and what it's supposed to be. So this is supposed to be kind of like a fossilized tree log. I guess you can kind of see it, right? But it doesn't work out that way. And I can explain why. The transition from the stones and the mossy overgrowth to the wood is not good enough. First of all, I probably need to add more wood, work on the shaping a little bit. And I also think I need to add some acacia wood because it's gray. So you go from the gray, greeny stones to the gray acacia into the purpley pink cherry wood, which I may just straight up change to a different type of wood, but definitely you need acacia as a transition piece here. I just don't have that kind of wood, and it's going to take me a while to farm, so we'll save that for a later episode, maybe next episode. But yeah, as you can see, the shape kind of just winds up working out. It kind of just looks like a big old tree log, and that's why I went with that, because actually if we just look at this really quickly. I started off just making mountains, as I do, as one does, right? You just start out making mountains. And I realized that the shape of this entire build kind of is just circular in a nice way. And then I was like, this could be a giant fossilized tree log. And I thought that, you know, I think, although this needs some work, I think it looks pretty good overall. Not terrible. The backside's really kind of rough. The backside's not terrible either, but it is kind of rough. We'll probably leave it mostly empty because it is just a facade. It's just for looks. But yeah, definitely want to add some acacia into it. And I think overall, this actually looks pretty nice. Even if you don't realize what it's supposed to be, I still think it looks pretty cool in its own unique way, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how this build turned out. I'm happy that the farm is actually working. All the items are being sorted. It's so much nicer, and we're not gonna have to worry about this forever, because if we just go back here, I filled every single one of these to the brim with shears, and of course, even when one shear breaks, it doesn't break the farm until the very last shear it breaks. Even then, it's not broken, it's just not going to be shearing them anymore, which Honestly, I'll probably let this farm break because, I mean, the amount of wool I'm going to accumulate by the time all of those shears breaks is gonna be absurd. But, yeah, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode. Have a great day, and goodbye.